Namo Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya Namo Guruvaya Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya Namo Guruvaya Namo Buddhaya Namo Antaraya Namo Sanghaya I am the Lord, will do Ram Kai Sho Sa Hu De Chun Zi Chun Yin Yang Bu Will Yin Lu San Cha Se Yang Dang Jie Ba Ne Yang De Xie So Liao Liao Na Yang Ga Se Yang De Be Yang De Yang De Xie Zhe Yang La Yang Ma Jie Be Yang Zhong Ha Ta Long De Han Be 舍有那些作用多，太阳报节节，太阳要说所有所，写一节全个，绕一遍落着有所。给有上有那一边，给就的些送，茶的一边也，拉面的一边不，太阳的一边。太阳的拉长，也要我去有难做面多样当，这些多没难的这家做。我要想也着，却见家作用的，是要那心中，天要那去毛的，看见破灭。就那什么，六我也有面给这样吧，这样吧，多样吧，所 Tibetan Way Joyous Wang Bo Zhang Bia Yang Tiao Bo Ma Liu Yuan Zhe San Kan Zhen Ge Bia Tuo Yin Zong Kao Yang Ba Lo Yin Zhang Yin Zhang Yin Bia Xiao Yin La Ai Wang Yin De Ba Yin De Zai Bia Lai Ma Ri Bo Yan Jie Dai Su Ji Wu Lo Bia Me De Shu Yan La Ga Zhi Jie Bia Ko Ni Jie Su Yan De Ko Su Du Jie Wen Zhu Zhe Du Yan So Pan De Zai Bia Lai Ma Ri Bo Zhe Dai Su Ni Ga Ra Bia Me De Shu Yan La Ga Zhi Jie Bia Ko Ni Jie Su Cho Yang Da Ji Yang Mo Wen Zhu Zhe Du Yan So Pan De Zai Bia Lai Ma Ri Bo Yan Jie Dai Su Ni Ga Ra Bia Me De Shu Ga Zhi Jie Bia Ko Ni Jie Su Yan De Chang Zhu Ni Bia An Du Nian Ba Ra An Zhu Ma Sa Ma Yan Zhi Me Xie Ra Ba Ru Xin Ma Ye Ma Ga Nan Ye Wu Bo Ye Yom la cha ze lo te ya da ga de ga de ga ra de ma ra sa ma ga de bo de so yo se yo do ga de ga de ga ra ga de ga ra sa ma ga de bo de so yo te yo do ga de ga de ga ra ga ra sa ma ga de bo de so yo ge re dong da ya yo je wang da me de de be jian dan de wa ten ban zhuo jian be zong zhuo yu de zha de le yo sa xue zhe jie yo Our goal is to achieve complete enlightenment for the benefit of all other sentient beings. And for that reason, we should cultivate the altruistic motivation, seeking complete enlightenment for the benefit of all other sentient beings. And with that kind of contrite bodhicitta, altruistic motivation, we should participate in this discourse on the perfection of joyful effort. So where we stopped last Sunday, of course, we started to discuss about how a joyful effort, or chindu in Tibetan, is an antidote to lelo, laziness. And so in the Sutra on mindfulnesses, so there is explanation about, joyful effort as an antidote to laziness with an example given.
将尊重的戒备用把西主这个也是变得看着的是呢，那么这年代那么这个这个这个生活上不把他们什么说我听那些这个这些的乐乐他们讲尊重戒备崩啊，也能写到手的成本也下来，现在拉松过来是，农业过的我们把这些经。运送用是不能协调吧？上级国境啊，为组织可怕抗议的呢，大的点不起，一定的呢，水管节约等，一定的是刚才节约吧？组织脏了，是你们没干呢，开发所有组织都没解释。我电视刚才这么年下来是我的。你来了这个说这总书记塞住的，本来那我这个不把塞着我的那些，你们这不到我这这些呢，不把刚刚塞着我的是我，老能他这叫总书记为帮啊，因为现在现在老师过了，多老师过了，农业工党没把塞进去，有时候用是不能写的吧。上级工作安排总是怕可以等得到的等不起，我这不是他说过了，农业工让我们把这些东西，有时候用是不会，写的吧，总之在那用的有的用可能是别人，少他把他们写的广播连着说到这个现在，这是有时候是不会写的吧。上级工业安排总是怕可以等得到的点不起，现在总是要有的什么呢？有的人今天这个领导他是早晚就总是这个样子，这些送在人总是这也是没有照顾人事的地方。
So in the sutra on mindfulnesses, Buddha talks about how joyful effort or enthusiastic effort, Chendu, is an antidote to get rid of all kinds of laziness, all forms of laziness. An example given is that when the light shines, comes on, then the darkness is dispelled, right? Darkness of any kind cannot persist when the light comes on. So in the same way, when we generate a joyful effort, then the laziness cannot persist. Laziness has to, go away. So that's what is stated in the Sutra on Mindfulnesses. Now, in another sutra called Laksam Kribedo, a sutra on the exaltation of special willpower, okay, it is stated, as Geshe explained, that joyful effort is something that all Buddhas, praise a lot, And why? Because through joyful effort, we can, get rid of all kinds of problems and suffering. We can completely avoid being reborn in the bad migrations. The reason is that with joyful effort, we can, find our way to be free from samsara. We can find our way to be enlightened, Buddhahood. So in this particular sutra, so they said that joyful effort is the kind of like a foundation or the source of all goodness. Like everything that we seek, whether it's a mundane success or it is a transcendental success, everything depends on a joyful effort. So therefore, joyful effort is the foundation for all kinds of success.
我的是叫上级工业安排总是怕可以听得到的点不行，现在总是的几点对吧？地里他们早晚是现在这种 尊重到底，尊重中国人是。日本的呢，日本的呢，所讲只有的，日本的所讲的只有尊重上了是因为没干呐，开发水尊重上面的，尊重上面到底叫谁？我这时候到底是。Jigden na ina be gondo jo khari goya khari goya da jigden de be stava taji shawa toji khari goya so ga ga ina zongru lu ngo ro wasi ti yu go da ti zongru na ina zongru zaba da tiralia ente as be kale kana shi de be jono ji be xia sui shi ge xia ma ri ina zongru zonggu ri shi da zongru zaba ri be ju zen de ti wo da kan shi ina sai di da ina那个他没得啊，他都他把他就行吧。我提前搞个早啊，就是按种植投掉，现在这种的按种植上面，这个种的这需要嘛的，也是没些呀，按汤的来种过来是，我就是有的。
So in the sutra on exaltation of special willpower, Laksam Kulvet Do in Tibetan, so it stated as Geshe explained, that joyful effort or chindu is the foundation or the source of all goodness in this and future lives. In any kind of goodness we seek, which is of mundane nature, or any goodness that we seek, which is of transcendental nature, all such goodness, the fulfillment of our wishes and aspirations are contingent upon joyful effort. Without joyful effort, we cannot succeed even fulfilling our mundane wishes, forget about transcendental aspirations. So it is in that sense, joyful effort is something essential that we must cultivate. Yes, we may face difficulties as we do that, but don't give up easily, because, with joyful effort, as we said, we could, create causes and conditions to fulfill our wishes in this lifetime and to have a good rebirth in our next life as a divine being or as a human being. And then if we are seeking more than that, we seek nirvana, freedom from samsara, we seek enlightenment, Buddhahood for everybody's sake. All of these things could arise from joyful effort. So it's worth making effort to generate it, even if we face some difficulties, So we should be willing to face the difficulties to be able to cultivate a joyful effort.
看到商业上是 QQ 吧，觉得木易种的嘛，就能同人呢，大的种植种了那边去。でね、前出たくしへだ、ですよ、それ。考大上级上市学校，在上级的，被他把他去把国贸里啊，老中心的是个叫啊，就在木易讲同人呢，你的木把子同人，大的种植种了那边去，在木把你子讲看着这个，在人的因为种植种过，是不是我是个人是？되는 거에 대다 꾸시 있으잖아. 그러니까 그게 레군도 보신다. 존주 삼고레스 무과더니 어디 말씀하신 존주 삼네 중국 타월다 터지시면 고만 중국에서 그 이 구마토야 좀 있어. 어디서 그러세요?
So in the same sutra, it continues to tell us how Buddha says, so those who are interested to find liberation from samsara and who would like to achieve enlightenment for the sake of everybody else, you should reflect on the faults of laziness and sleeping, and you should reflect on the benefits of joyful effort and try to pursue the joyful effort, right? How to prevent laziness and sleepiness and try to generate joyful effort. And Buddha says, this is my I'm exhorting you. This is my advice to you, right? If you really wish to find liberation, enlightenment, this is the way to go. So I'm just telling you that. I'm just encouraging you to do that. No.
Oh, this is what the Geshe you know, Zhongzhu show. The Deni, Tijit, Zhongzhu Juni Mela Deni show. Zhongzhu Jidin, and Jidin to Zhongzhu Jeni, Siju Devatap. Zhongzhu Jeni, Tabarab Den. Zhongzhu Jeni, and Jigdo Denin to Zhongzhu Jeni, Shangshu. 少数说商家写作等发展对吧来讲，用所就没宗旨现点呢，现点呢，每到每周那么可能要没些忙我得多的接嘞，因为现在说宗旨的意思要。可是我们这边的个人，送了这你做这个说做你个决议下去，是吧？做这的，做这个现在这个做这些都有的嘛，做这些这些，都是也等的这些。这呢，第几套是的，可能是，做这个的那些人，被对外通知过来是。做这些呢，为了点你小事，他就我起码连着头下的没有意思的，这搞不到了电话头下，那个他都我这几天到是，几天这个好国外的那几天的要去看人，这个做出的用户认识，做这些呢是就对吧？他做这些呢。Siju devoto sa koal never ring te kai me imita koal never ring la be lungju da su de ba ga to ri is this gebra zonri ke ne thaparab jurde zonri ke ne jigdo zonri ke ne jigdo de ne jigdo da ti ro jigdo da te ne chu 都这个呢，城市说上街是，对不对？但做这个呢，一个别人出去的台湾头下地是吧？一个不下的，做这个呢，城市说上街是的上街我们对呀，可是台湾的他这些我刚刚做出来做也是，写作等，还是对吧？你大的龙包有吧？有时见面做这些的呢。 每到每周，那么可能没就是忙活些。组织介绍呢，那边给我这个开始说到等到开始什么呢？等到你偷马的些，解药嘛这些，抗击，开始工业的组织原来那边给我几天我就开始就我就找都认识我是吧？
In the ornament of Mahayana Sutras, Mahayana Sutra Alamkara or Dodikyan in Tibetan, joyful effort is very much highlighted and praised. As Geshe explained, that joyful effort is the spring of all virtuous collections. Yeah? And with joyful effort, while we are in samsara, we are able to fulfill our wishes, such as we find resources to support our practice, yeah, or that we can find good rebirth in the next life. We're still in samsara, yeah. But then, of course, we can transcend the samsara, go beyond with a joyful effort, and we can find liberation, nirvana, and enlightenment. So that means joyful effort makes everything possible, and we should appreciate that. And it is also said that with joyful effort, we can dismantle the transitory view, the view of transitory collection, right, which keeps us in samsara. In other words, if we can dismantle the transitory view, then we can find freedom from samsara. And what makes it possible is the joyful effort. With joyful effort, we can generate bodhicitta, altruism, and then we can achieve enlightenment. So therefore, all our wishes and aspirations could become reality through cultivating joyful effort. And as Geshe quoted from his memory, great Indian master Acharya Chandrakirti, in his supplement of the Middle Way, Madhyamika Avatar, tells us that joyful effort, is essential for us to be able to complete the two types of accumulation of merit, punya, and accumulation of wisdom or jnana. Okay, so joyful effort is essential for that. Great Indian master Acharya Veera, the other name is Ashwaghosh, in his treatise called Condensed Perfection of Wisdom, Prajindyuba, he stated, as Geshe explained, that with joyful effort, nothing seems to be impossible, isn't it? Every wish and aspiration seems to be possible when you cultivate joyful effort. So impossibility is, in today's version, not in your dictionary. Of course, Geshe didn't say that. That's my modern translation of that. So with joyful effort, everything is possible.
Geshe Gyeltsen Shangshu Shebu Drubi Shir Lelo Pangni Liu So Le Yang Medawa Zunju Zunga Ni Shangshu Simbe Denu Le Da Ni Da Ni Ji Yang Liu Da Ni So Je Yong Se Pang Ji De Lelo Ta Ni Kun Pa Ni Shangshu Tamba Tsewa Chi Sha Nang Ta Ni Ti Cha Nang Ta Papa Ni Ru Bukong So Porde Lelo Tamje Yong Se Pang Ji Ni Shangshu Shangshu Zunju Zaba Chi Sheva Taros Ko Tienja Karsa Ta Zunju Zanggo In Zunju Zabi Penyong De Mazime Nimik De Ya Sang Ni Karsa Ne Ene Zunju Zanggo Ya De O Dere Ya Ne Zanggo Ba Ne Dere Wa Karsa Shangshu Goba Shangshu Simbe Denu Les Shangshu Yi Denu Sigdo Kaji Shangshu Simbe Cheva Cheva Padu Shema Choksu Sawa Labzi Denya Denu Ote Sigo Seri Denu Le Dane Danyi Jiang Liu De Ne Gunjang Yongsu Pang Ji De Sosu Be Da No Lungzi De Pasha Da Sa Shige De So Lu So De Wa Lu So De Lu Da Ne In the Zunju Dangu Res So Japang Ji De Lilatan Gunbangnes Hotel Luso in Lilabang Res Shangshu Tamba Tsewa Chi Sewa Tipang Nen Shangshu Ya Top Tsewa Shik Shangshu Tamba Senata Here Sanji Commander Taiba Shangshu Shi Shangshu Tamba Sen Sanji Command Shan Zane Piji Cha Nang Tang Bakba Tang Ne Rugang So Portes Rugang Se Rupat Gang In Jira Gang Kanye Da Shata Gaga Porte Lila Ta Yong Se Pang Ye Ne Shangshu Shok Chir Zunju Zabar Chis So Shata Tiyo Gaga Big Ali Zaga Zikir Big No Lung Zio Devo Zaga De Gang In De Pasha and the Zashi saw the Lulu saw the Benny So Lulu saw the any Shata Gaga Kari Tiya Gaga and Ludan in the Zunju Zamburis or this is.
In the Bodhisattva discourses, Chanju Sembetene in Tibetan, it is stated that bodhisattvas are completely dedicated to pursue enlightenment through joyful effort. Whatever sacrifices they need to make, they are willing to and ready to do that, even at the cost of their life. Yes, that's what is stated in the Bodhisattva discourses. So as Geshe explained, that Bodhisattvas reflect on the faults of laziness, and coming under the influence of laziness, they reflect on the benefits of joyful effort, what kind of results or outcomes that it can bring forth. Okay? So then they make their choice. They're going to go with the joyful effort, even if they face a lot of difficulties, like they have to make a lot of sacrifices, they have to give up their resources. That's not a big deal at all, and they might even have to give up their life. They're willing to do that, right? Resources, body, and life. They want to stake up everything, right? So that sacrifice that in order to cultivate joyful effort, because they know that through joyful effort, they are able to achieve enlightenment, the ultimate goal for the sake of, all. So that's why bodhisattvas are able to pursue or engage in paramitas or six perfections, isn't it? Why they are so involved and dedicated. They're willing to joyfully do all of those things. And so that's what is stated in the Bodhisattva, Bodhisattva discourses. So the specific information that Bodhisattvas don't mind if their flesh fall off the body, so be it. Okay, they don't mind that if their bones are going to crack, let it be. They don't mind even the marrows come out of their bones, so be it. They are just completely kind of bent upon, working towards enlightenment, and they realize that joyful effort is essential for them to get there. So they're willing to sacrifice everything for joyful effort to overcome laziness.
Yawa chudi zunru, simse toji zunru, sumdi shebata. Dode jenle, omar koje zunru, tene ne, suishin rabshu, joye zunru te, mafshu meju, sho, mishi zunru, she so, she koje zunru, joye zunru, mafshu mishin, meju zunru, sho mishi be zunru te, zunrite, hirishiyawata. Mumba kundule, kojata, jawata, mengungwata, mendobata, shabar menzibe, zunrita, nga shelas. Ta dinima, kar zunru yawati resha, ta zunru nauzi yawati la, ani koje zunru jikshe, koje zunru sana te ta koje, lot of jayate. Kari na be, lapjaro khari logo so lap thog re sa del khoje du so ra adire khoje dori ra de yo la khoje dori yo chudi dori simje toji te so di she ba ta se je dong je je de ta so she ya jo re ta do de jin li she da de kare na do de jin le ne thomor khoje dori jig she zunru tene ne, zunru suishin rabdi shube, joye zunru siya shi yin she, ma shim siya simshu ma medu sho me shibe zunru, she koje zunru, joye zunru, ma shim me dobi zunru, sho me shibe zunru te, shiri yawa tanga si. Ngoma kundu le, Kojata Jawata, the Mengoma, the Mendobata, Shover Menzi, Zunru Tang, Marshella, so the Shizu Menja, the Timaja. Because the Sido Sumshe, Tando de Jenny Shedo de la Sido Shenda, and the Zunru de Yaka, the Koje Zunru, Yawachu, the Sunja Sumshe. Tando de Jenny Shedo Tomer, Koje Zunru. Toma coisa do José Tamol de Pagel Lozon Jube de Gabjo, the Simdo Shembo, Kaji Kanye, Jesus Jeva Kaji, Gokana, Kaji Stones, the Tontoris, or the Causes of the ship. Sushi of you, Joet of the days, or Debda, Sushi of you, Joet of the days, Joet of the never leg up. Tomo de Causes to the Sade. 너무 말하고 너무 그 팬바다고 되래. 야, 이 로도 시험을 돼 거기 줄으시로. 다 세계를 비슷하던 아니 로종시와 라운드 냐면서 레벨 가서 아니 강의도 가디셔서 들려야 수요되고 돼. 아니 세계를 비슷한 줄으시로. 마심 무죽 소미지 줄으시. 마심서나 되게 다 아우당에도 용사 말이세요. 어디 소미 내세야 되와. 무죽 세도다 애는 촉수도 다 되게 가지. 그게 그래서 콜 존주스벌 메조아 주시리샤. 쇼메시 존주 쇼메시도 가제베 요데도 가제랑 가제 공로 가제 체나 다도베 디고베 다 데스소야 주자니메 베 다도라 비 존주토야 베 베바슈 쇼보이나 데서 쇼메시 와시. 근데 시 고제 존주 조에 존주 마심신 무주부 존주 존주 쇼미시베 존주 실시바 다 도대게 시시하시 뭐바 고들세도 고제 존주 조와시 조에 존주 조와시 민공 와서나다 공세나 시다데 피기제 데레 쇼벨레로세 지바드베 무주부 존주 세하시 민도바담세 민도 셔민도바 때 강의로 가지시오네 그 가서 도움다바 초벌 민집이 좀 초벌 민집이 다 되고 들어가서 디그레스 하시는 매하시 가지지야 그 여셔라면 단도집에 소매지면 단도 용잡어서 시니까 농도 셔버게야 돼 소매시 좀 주시로
겐 도디센리아 시제로와게 뭐 바꾼디는 거 차고로게
그래
노스 So now we will highlight the different types of joyful effort. In general, we talk about three types of joyful effort. The first one is called Geshe Gyeltsen, armor-like joyful effort, putting on the armor like joyful effort. The second one is called joyful effort to integrate virtue. Then the third one is the joyful effort to benefit sentient beings. So those are three types of joyful effort we generally talk about. Okay. Now in the Sutra Alankara, Ornament of Mayana Sutras, Dodejen, they talk about four types of joyful effort. It starts with armor-like joyful effort. Armor-like means before you engage in the action, virtue, you have to prepare your mind, right? You have to have the courage. I'm willing to face any difficulties, come on, right? That's what it is. So you have to prepare your mind, right? Before you get into action, you have to develop the courage. So that is called armor-like joyful effort, right? Motivational kind of a joyful effort. Then there is what we call joyful effort of application. When you actually engage in the action, right? Whatever difficulties you face, you are going to resist it, right? And there's that kind of joyful effort. So it's a joyful effort of applying yourself into virtue, okay? And then there is the joyful effort to protect yourself from discouragement or belittling yourself, isn't it? We can easily, I can't do that. I'm not ready. That kind of a mindset, so that kind of a discouragement, belittling yourself, right? I'm not ready, so that to kind of counteract that, that's called another joyful effort, right? Yes, you can. There's no reason why you can't. Then the fourth one is it's called literally it means discontentment. This is a joyful effort of never feel contented with positive qualities, right? As you cultivate them, you'd never think like, okay, now I have enough good qualities, so that's it. You just want to keep going, right? To enhance and cultivate more positive qualities. So never feel be contented with virtues. Never feel contented with, I have done enough good karmas kind of thing. Yeah, so you have to feel it's not enough, right? I can do more, right? That kind of joyful effort. So there are 4 of them, right? Let me run through this. The first one, according to Sutra Alankara, is armor-like joyful effort, motivational courage drive. Then this is the joyful effort as you actually engage in the virtue, you face difficulties. And then there's the joyful effort of not underestimating yourself, belittling yourself. No, I'm not ready. I can't. Not that. Okay. And then there is the joyful effort of never feeling enough of cultivating positive things. Don't be contented with positive qualities. Just, you can. So those are the 4 joyful effort mentioned in Sutra Alankara, ornament of Mahayana Sutras. Now in the, the Abhidhamma Samukchaya, compendium of Bodhisattva trainings, they mention actually 5 types of joyful effort. Yeah, because the first one is the armor-like joyful effort, which is the same thing, the motivational joyful effort, your courage. And the second one is the same, the joyful effort of applying yourself into action or virtue. Then the third one is a joyful effort of not belittling yourself, underestimating yourself, right? That I cannot, no excuses there, so to speak. And then the fourth one is called Mitokpa, means not reversing. Once you engage in something positive, so don't have a second thought and take a step back, right? So not taking a step back, it's not reversing it. You just move forward, right? That kind of joyful effort. And then the fifth one is, not feeling that I have done enough good things, right? That not feeling contented with virtues or the good karmas, right? You have to have a joyful effort to enhance it, right? Ever more. So those are the 5 types of joyful effort in the Abhidhamma Samukchaya, compendium of Bodhisattva trainings. So let me run the list again here. The first one is armor-like joyful effort. The second one is the joyful effort of engaging in the virtue. Face any difficulties, you face it off. And then the joyful effort of not belittling yourself or protecting yourself from, underestimating yourself or discouraging yourself. And then the joyful effort of not taking a step back or reversing, right? You just don't want to have a second thought and then you change your virtuous plan, right? Now you're going to march forward. You're not going to backward, right? That kind of called midokpa, not abandoning it. And then the last one is the joyful effort of never feeling contented with virtues or positive qualities, because you want to cultivate positive qualities infinitely, right? So those are the 5 types of joyful effort mentioned in the Abhidhamma Samukchaya or compendium of knowledge. Sorry, compendium of knowledge, not trainings, compendium of knowledge. Okay. So we have 3 in general joyful effort, and then we have 4 in the Sutra, ornament of Mahayana Sutra. They overlap, right? The only extra thing is that never feeling enough of virtues. Then we have 5 in the compendium of knowledge. So the 2 extra ones are not taking a step backward and not feeling enough of virtues, right? So 3 plus 2, those additional, we have 5 types of joyful effort.
Joyous, Saba Koja Chomber Sheva Tangs, or the Koja to the Karisina, Yawa Joy Garusido. For that, the Yams but says it of Tamagadi, oh, that day, Yosa Marisana, in the Koja to Lumira, the Karina, Kale Kazan, and yet Togo is other, and the Koja to the.
So now we will go with every one of them, right? The explanation of what is what of this joyful effort. The first one is called armor-like joyful effort. Kocha means putting on the armor. So this, as we said, this is like a motivational drive, right? Before you actually start your virtual practice, we have to develop that courage. If we have a doubt, like, oh, maybe not, I don't think I can do that much, right? I'm not so sure, right? If we have that mind, then we're not going to engage in the virtue, right? If we say, okay, this is the right thing to do, and whatever difficulties I may face, I'm willing to face it off. So that kind of courage before we start it off, that's called armor-like joyful effort. So it means we generate the joy to engage in virtue, right? Not doubting that we can't do it, or I'm not so sure I want to do this. We said, I will plunge into it, and whatever difficulties I face, I'm willing to take it, right? So that is the first kind of joyful effort. No.
Because Joyous to recite, Joyous and Ganzo Karina, Shawa Kadra, Shiva, Lega Shiva, Nekal, Joa, Lega Shiva, Nekal, Joas.
No.
Joyous to Joa Nels Lebe, Lebe Tsena, Sim Joa de la Kuzor, the Toxo News, or Dim Rata, Joyous to recite, Joyous to the Kares and Joa Nels Lebe Tsena, and Sim Joa de. The Kuzor Doctor is the Kuzors and the Tissiwata and the Tundu Shukshamula, Kuzors, not to Temples and be union to the share the Doctors. Kudajo Tundu the Tundu Shukshavashaji, the union to the share Yorova, which is the Shukshavasha and the Kuzor share, union to the Doctors or the years of that. Joa Shiva, Mendo Junite, Yoas Ju Nyam de Karsa, New Years, what did the Kujo Dogs in shit? Joa Nyam's Lembisen, Sim Joa, the Della Kujo Data, the Mingo is doing Mingos and Chidden Shian with the Roa. That would do Tomo said. So, George Juve say, that the color new young do say, Simji, Shumba, Sim Mishumba, Joa Jevatan. So, what did that? Mungo was on the Seattle. Out of her rebut toward the Seattle, her law got a reserve. Dress shot that did love Yamsland to Marisanda, and you call Terego, Karsa. Go or did I Mingo and Zurina? Joel and Job said, that we see Tangabe, Amodu Zero, Loshabor Zero, and Sidalo Zujo said, that's also the Judeta Namawaya, what is it? Did I own Jenny? Yam the same Mishumba, Joajeva, Kari Muzakan Joe, I think Mizo Kari, Chibara was it, me, but Chibara is. Control better the Kayoma, and so lot of Jena. Tilia, Disney Sigmara. She thought the music in the she was a young Disney. The most she had, she told her some share, she was Disney Sigmara. Or this way. But simple Karsa, Sim Mindo Karsa, Shumba Jevata, Mindo was doing the gay shower juba. La sim mission but Joa Cheva dance, Jewish Karjuna. Mindo Betonine, Jewish Shawar Juba na, Genshin Jurmudoba, Medoba. Sim Joa Tashima Sheva dance, stay da. Chidasha de Chidabe, Tulu Yaboyana, Jan was the Jan on the Shane, and the young girl some Shira de Yungro, or Tremel. Can't Kazi shows on the can't tell Dolin, King it was you as no decision with the life, or this still is what. Mundaba told you gave us our Jua, King here, Jurmutova. Sim Joa Tashiba Shiva das, Cousin Jugro Tashiba, Lega the Mata for the middle of some be Simija Tiredua, and the Tashiba Shiva dance, or this. That shopper means it. Shopper means it better. You are doing some yes. Shopper means it. Come here, so yes, should be also. Or the shopper is that Yahoo was always used up and Nijun that today's Lord of Ozina. 13 degrees, so you seem that the Tarvaya City Mountains, so on you are.
No.
他你是什么人？他都提个城市生直接无助，也把那 in the trouble when you said, easy.
So now we are going through every one of different types of joyful effort. The first one we call armor-like joyful effort, which is the motivational drive. So I want to call it the orientation joyful effort. You are getting ready, right, to get into virtue. And you said, I'll develop the courage. I'm not going to think like, oh, maybe I cannot, or maybe I'll try. No, not maybe I tried. I will, right? So it's the right thing to do. So I will do whatever difficulties. So that's called motivational drive, joyful effort. The second one is called the joyful effort of application. Now, when we actually engage in our practice, virtue, action, this is action-oriented joyful effort, right? Sometimes, if we don't have that joyful effort, we might give up halfway, right? Okay, this is not working. Change of heart. No. So to sustain our application into the joyful effort, there are two other kinds of what we call, it's a subtype of joyful effort. We call it kujor, means we have to, how should I say, intensify our joyful effort, make it strong. If our joyful effort not strong, we can easily give up. Okay, this is not working. So this is called, we have to intensify our joyful effort. And the second one is called takchor gutsundi, means we have to make it stable, stability. We have to maintain the continuity of effort, right? Not for a day or two or 1 week, right? Geshe didn't say that. We have to sustain continuously. So those two subtype of joyful effort goes with this, the second type. When we apply ourselves into action, if we can make our joyful effort strong, then we will easily not give up, right? If we try to make it stable, then we will persist it, isn't it? And so that is the second type of joyful effort. So that one. And then the third joyful effort is called not stepping back or irreversibility. Means that, no, sorry. The second one is not discouraging oneself, right? We may sometimes start off very well and doing fine. Then somewhere, we think like, okay, I don't think, I can do more than that. Actually, I'm really getting old. So we use the old age as an excuse, right? Yeah, old age is not supposed to work this hard kind of thing. So I can't do it anymore, okay? Or that I'm not educated enough. So I'm not intelligent enough, right? So we have all these, we call invalid reasons, excuses to give up and discourage ourselves, belittle. No, actually, we have to say, like, if everybody else can do it, why can't I do it? I'm the same human being, right? This is not a negative competition here, right? Positive comparison. If everybody is able to do it, why can't I do it? There's no other reason. Okay, so we have to boost up our spirit, right? We have to don't belittle ourselves, don't discourage ourselves, don't make invalid excuses here, right? That kind of joyful effort. Then that's the third one. The fourth one is the joyful effort of not stepping back or irreversibility, midogba literally. What it means is, sometimes, we start off well and we go well for a while. Then under certain conditions overpower us and we give up, isn't it? And this especially when we face a lot of adversaries and difficulties, then we could give up. This is where we need the joyful effort. I have already made up my mind, I'm not going to take a step back. This is where we think about transforming the adverse conditions into favorable conditions, isn't it? Yes, these are adversaries, but I'll use this to my advantage to sustain my virtue and practice, okay? So I'm not going to reverse my decision here, right? So that is the kind of joyful effort here, okay? Otherwise, we will not be able to complete our practice, isn't it? We need to take to our the whole destination kind of thing. Now, the fourth kind of joyful effort is never feeling contented with positive qualities, right? Never think that we have done enough of positive things. So to the fifth one is that, let's say, you cultivate renunciation, aversion to samsara. Somehow you're succeeding it, right? You feel that samsara is really nothing interesting. Now you feel like, okay, I think maybe I have the renunciation under my belt, So that's enough. I have done enough. Good. you don't feel the need to cultivate bodhicitta, right? You don't feel the need to cultivate wisdom gone beyond. You think, I have enough, right? Or somebody might think, okay, I have bodhicitta, that's enough. Now I don't need emptiness anymore, right? So that's what we call feeling contented with some positive quality of virtue. Until the job is done, so to speak, enlightenment is our job, right, goal, then until we get there, there's no such thing as I have enough of qualities, right? That's what we call don't feel contented with virtues. So those are the 5 types of joyful effort.
And the court be Yago, that Karikashiosana, Midisho worship Guani Pongo, what did it Zundu Midisho? Oh, I said, yeah, but Zundu Midisho Pongani, Midisho, Lilo, Jindisha, Mosoma. Teach it that point. Tap Yamboshebo was what Saji did it. That Zundu Yago, I said, Judelia, Lilo Jindisha. Lilo Seatiro, Lilo the Cardes, Lilo Corongo to Cardes. In Lilo Kia, the Cardes, Lilo Kiango is a Judas Odisha. Carsa Judas or Gosons. That is Gosons are then Tapaya to consider it. Don't got it, Tinja dogs. Teach it up on top the near Bushel, study Sergeant of Sonsidua.
No. So we just kind of laid out, right? We defined what is joyful effort, and we kind of highlighted different types of joyful effort. We briefly differentiated every one of them from the other, right? Now, the next outline is for us to be able to succeed in cultivating joyful effort, we also have to know the discordant factors, right? What can, the unfavorable conditions, right, that are associated with joyful effort. So in other words, we have to understand laziness. What is laziness, right? Different types of laziness, If we don't know laziness, then how can we cultivate joyful effort? It's antidote to that. That's first point. The second point is what brings laziness in us, right? What are the causes of laziness? Cause and effect relationship between laziness, and its causes. And the third point is once we understand that, now how to do the practice, right? We should abandon laziness, its causes. We should adopt and cultivate joyful effort in its causes, right? So those are the major outlines we will address. No.
That Tangbones, Midisho, Midisho saw this. That Juju Korozawa and Sholoka, Sikaji is a Midisho saw the. Tell a year ago, Midisho Mosoma, Yawaden in Midisho Mosoma. Zundu Ted engaging, Zundu T, Nyambasheva, Ye Midisho, Yawasheva, Midisho, Yawasheva. Shade, Teo. Luda sim les merunging. Yal medor. Tadung lung ye bata. Tadung lung ye nyambe se. Shishi shebe. Goni nyumlegi. Deola shebe lelo tangse. Asa nyumlegi lelo seadi. Takani. Nyumlegi lelo seadi. Jor shesho resa. Kuchi. Shiaji in Bishop Tada Teller of Yoma, the Kalakal Shishu, but Shishu later, Delta, Shishu Lelo said, yes, we do reject this. Migo Adams, Gueva the Gival also be, Shawala, member the Gashin, Shakbe say Namani, Shawal Yambala, Shemba, Yi Lelo Tams, or the Shawang Ye Lelos, Shawang is also the Kazu was the same as I because me semi direct gawashing is in the Goya legal tomb of the or what did showing a hill series. Arza Shembil only little tongue, Tim go give us so much share your Yambala Sheba, Nigi, little showing in here, little city. That gave us a kind lead over the trashing, trashing, Gilone, that they would joke at me young, round you look Dangi Yeba, Pelilos, that Gilu was another Dangi, they see what Gadwa. Give you so kind and little Duba, so she seems, so she's in a thing at home, Marista, or Seadra, Gilu name, Pachidia, that they would joke at me young, round Beba, Gilu, Dangi, Yebe, little. Gilu Belos another, Danny Yebelos and Chiwense, and she said. The little somless, because a human little shawang yellow Gilu little somless. Namanya gave you Juniuso Tonya, Menjua Yela. Shimana Dagi, Yeshu, Joe Kalanian, the Shumba, that she took do not hear. Geshe di Gyeltsen will little down. Danny will she, Tini saw the Shiva, you do say. Gyeltsen was Danny will there's car the Yorvada. Gyeltsen was in Quanyams like my dear lady at the river. Shumsania, because Danny will get the Togmar. Without get Togmar, God, but you were low, she would say, or dress that to the caution and duration.
So as we said, for us to be able to succeed in cultivating joyful effort, Jundu, we need to also understand the obstacles to joyful effort or the impediments or the unfavorable conditions. In other words, laziness, right, is the main culprit here. And so we have to know different types of laziness, right, that can prevent us from cultivating joyful effort. And so this can be presented in any order. The order is not important, it seems. So as Geshe explained, there is what we call the laziness of procrastination, isn't it? Now, this is the kind of laziness you might acknowledge that it's good to do positive things. It's good to do practice, right? You don't deny it, but you say what? I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. Well, I'll do it next day. So you just keep on procrastinating. You know it's good to do. You don't disagree with that, but we keep on procrastinating to some other time that never comes, seems to come, That's the laziness of procrastination. Okay. Then another laziness is the laziness of, we called it self-discouragement, belittling, isn't it? And this is like, as we talked about before, now I'm really getting old, right? I know when I was young, then I could have done better. Now, it's old. So we get the old age excuses, right? That I can't do it. Or that, I really didn't go through the whole school. I'm a dropout, so I can't do this. So you blame the education incompleteness is why you can't do it. Or that, I'm busy with other things. Then, so no such valid excuses are there, and don't feel like I can, because why can't I, right? That's another laziness. And sometimes, people consider the laziness, indolence and laziness of self-discouragement as one thing. That's exactly, but others say that's different. One form of laziness, indolence is you don't feel like doing anything, isn't it? You just want to be couch potato, but that laziness. But the laziness of self-belittling is like, I can't, I'm not ready, I'm not smart enough, right? I am not young enough. I'm not beautiful enough. I didn't say that one, but, so people count as same or different, right? Like that. So it can be considered different. It can be considered same. Then another form of laziness is the laziness of, we call being attached to frivolous actions or activities, right? Taking so much excitement and joy in doing the wrong thing, negativities, or just kind of really enjoying so much about getting involved in fun and distractions. right? So that takes all of your energy and time. So you have no time to do positive things. So being attached to fun activities and the distractions, that seems to be the way to go. So that is a form of laziness, because we are coming under the influence of attachment, being attached to less important things, and so then we lose the more important part, and so that is a form of laziness. Okay.
Da lila kora nguru da lila nguru kundu lesi lila kansha da nyeva tang chwe dewa le tenes temu ka shakdobe sim mitoa te ye chola joy dewa le parji lese no shibatar nyeva sola ngobar hene se dewa le mitoa wase di shireni gewe cho tamsi nyamba shibati Kundi Shiva Taro was o team without that Dilla said that goes at the Karsa Shili, the Dilla goes on Karsana. Nevas in it because you must be yes, and the Tribute, there was another consumers should be permitted the artist or whatever on the Chibes. Dewa tene, tene gawo shewa tene, kusho janyi me temu sarto, nyogu du sa yora tere ka kanzi peki shina. Nyobs tate sa yora, o tera yusari. O tene yushen, kanzi gewa shidi ta mishwa shedi, peki kanzi umozi chelmu kanzi umo shidi diyen do yak shedi, gewa patu shewa tere dewa ta te siwaris, lelo siwaris, o de siwaris.
So then what is laziness? What is its nature? Of course, it is a mental factor or secondary mental attitude, which is more sort of associated, interlinked with close-mindedness or ignorance. Okay, so it is very closely linked to or associated with close-mindedness or ignorance, timuk in Tibetan, and it always disrupts engaging into virtue, positive things. Okay, so that's a form of secondary mental attitude is called laziness, and laziness always causes decline in virtues. So functionally speaking, what is the function of laziness? It always causes decline in virtues, right? So your virtues degenerate because laziness takes over us, So laziness can be due to, many things like, if you enjoy doing nothing, right? Just like, or doing everything what comes to my mind. There's no good or bad, like just whatever, I will do it, anything, and just getting too much excited about that. That's a form of laziness, because this is disruptive to the virtue, isn't it? Doing positive things. So this is how laziness is defined. It is a secondary mental attitude closely linked to close-mindedness or ignorance, timu, and its function is to degenerate virtue or to cause decline in virtue.
Because Bodhisattva Way the Geshe Joyous Parjidi Kundu Dishe Bodhisattva Umbashin Yalmiro was a D. Shilin Geshe Tamji Yambashiva, the Kundi Shiva Daros, or that the little Diana and Geshe Zan Yomaris. Little J. Jugu Swan is that little J. Judy do rejection less. Newly Tamba maybe Louis Shivatar, Yadruvala, Mizoa, Lusum Ted do base. Newly la Devar Sungness, Lusum Ted do a Sera, Gujos Yayama de Sheria, Tanga Neda Surgiro, the answer. Do be Newly Devals. So nice. Newly like the giveaway because I said that consume was permitted there to be giveaway because 그런 진다로 뒤지고라. 어디서 배 미세과 뒤져서 내니 소리 좀 더 말시고라. 어디인가? 무엇을 될라 뭐를 시비 대화 뒤로 녀와다. 뒤로 녀와다. 어딜 다로 녀와시디 이제 배지 뭐 창자니에 대해서 지금 거짓말 시도를 나와주고 저거 말이야. 어디 고쳐보셔야 돼. 뒤로 녀와시라. 어디서 이 너베 어디서네 녀와다. 다니 전에 이 벗어나 이 양선이 이제 기버지 이 많이 다도 무슨 그 깔려를 열어 어디서도 되니 되었어요 시기에 그래서 소바 때베세 녀라 녀바라 소바 예스는다 창자니 리다지요 다 가지 방매시 되는 그 메디다지 말이지 영 창자 예대야를 간지 가보지 디야들 어디에 좀 산시거라 어디에 제스고 어디에 어디서 그랬어 그래서 레로 그래서 이는 배도 뭐만 힘배 배워 시범 배워시 시와 이제 레로 제가 시라스 어디 드레스도 아니 건조모지 방매시 돼야들이야 시네 이제 좀 더 말이죠.
So what are some of the causes of laziness? What brings laziness, in our mind? In the Precious Garland or Ratna Avali by R. Nagarjuna, it mentions a couple of things which Geshe will explain. I think some of those are related to what we have here in the guide. On page 86, stanza 3, reads, because of attachment to the pleasurable taste of idleness, because of craving for sleep, and because of having no disillusion with the misery of cyclic existence, laziness grows very strong, right? Unquote. So Geshe hasn't explained the whole stanza yet, but part of it. So in other words, laziness is in some sense related to inaction, right? You just want to be couch potato. You don't feel like doing anything. So doing nothing seems like very joyful and pleasurable state, right? And people take so much pleasures in sleeping, whether they need it not, right? It's like, okay, oh my gosh, I didn't get to sleep today, right? You need is different, but, even not a necessity. So sleeping is joyful state, isn't it? Pleasurable. So being attached to that. Or doing nothing, or doing any silly things comes to your mind, right? Important or not, just being caught up in that. That is a form of laziness because that takes away your joy and energy from doing something meaningful and positive, So the Tibetan word is called like being, not really thinking mindful of all our actions of body, spirit, but being very careless, whatever comes to mind. I'll do whatever comes to mind, or I'll decide not to do anything, and that's so much pleasure, in being able to do whatever I want to do, or not having to do anything. That's such a pleasurable state, right? I just want to be in that state. So that's a laziness, And so what happens is that when you think about doing something positive, then you feel like, that's uninteresting, isn't it? So there's no joy in doing anything positive. When it comes to doing all silly-billy things, then you have so much joy, That's a laziness. That joy is a laziness, And Geshe thought we should stop there and welcome your questions. Do we have anything on the... what we call it, Zoom, not Facebook. We have graduated out of Facebook, Zoom.
We have a prayer request.
Sure.
Please say prayers for all that died or were injured in Israel and Gaza, and pray for an end to hatred everywhere.
Before I forget, let me inform Geshe and Sangha. The Sharkil Rawage,
La.
Sharkil Israeli, the Palestinian, you said Jacob Chivage, Del Makru was landed one.
La.
Israel, the Kaja Yaga Palestine, you said Sharkil Yorwage, Shagil Magig the Wage, Mimang was said, was said it on the one. Just a meet that don't chiba to get Delia to make them to Naronas again. And Magda, the Yoguchi to make them to Naronas. Yes. Oh, so that's it, yeah. Any questions here? Or anybody from behind the glass wall or anywhere we can start here?
Thank you. I want to be careful how I say this. I have found it in my own life that there have been times that it was easy to find motivation, very difficult to find joyful motivation, and that it is something that comes easier as I get older. I am finding it to be that simply to adhere to a practice because it looks good or it's so many minutes a day or whatever does me no good if I'm not actively engaging in it. So following everything you said today, that was said by Geshe today, I feel like it could be useful to all of us to expound on the joyful part of it.
Quran condition the Jirikin, Karso Tiring on the Sway, the Junju Rowagan, Kevalia, Trossum Kirk or Sumberwagan, the Morala Ducal Chitanzik, that's also Kewache, in the Chik, Yamlin Chela, that Loya League and the Cortonaja, the League does Rowagan. That's Kewache or the Yamlin Chels of Kuron, the League does. In a Kewachi, you can trust him them on the Rowagan, Kewache or This Kabusik does Rowagan. So that the Trossum Queer, that's some tongue again, so long as some pendulum was a race again. That doesn't Kevala Trover again. Kewache was a local Trover Kevamarogan. Or the Chidang was a Kewache, that's a loyal league or a church and a machine should never do something you could do Rogan. In a Chidukan Kabudi, Rogan. Or this some tongue that's on us.
Lord, the Tartoya, Tabji career, silver.
Lagneta Ducal Kabuchin Church or Trossum Yamlin Shakachigo again, and Yamlenko that the Gala or Killing, Imagine Digumas of the Charo again. The Trossum Credan, some of them that.
So that there is a young doctor there. Soon to some and a Dibujo Karium, think for a shoe here there. Mazamna, any young day, Kayamara, they called. Hami Korashi dinner, and she never said the lad, the young Seshima like Yanson Dorjee, Madoji, and because the Dibujo Yama said, so do Sabada, Yimi, Kaza, Payonda, Mazam to Shak and any Jones of Kazionda, but in some of the anything to do, Kato Jazera. She don't see the Payons. Papa, the code Yimita, the code. Nyamsla called Payonta, what he can't tone and called Jugora.
No. So in general, what we say is that right for us to stop doing anything wrong or negative, so if you reflect on right, so what are the demerits or disadvantages of engaging in negativity, right? What it can bring forth, and then we really get interested, enthusiastic about not indulging it or stopping it, isn't it? So for anything good to do, we said, right, if you reflect on the benefits, why should I do this? What can I achieve out of it? What are the positive outcomes? So you reflect on the benefits of doing something, then that usually brings joy, right, in what we do. That's a general explanation, right? Kalauda jik benada konso gendi kange ting musang aja sangma roage 당고 삼로스나 제 가버를 시어데 이네다 추주직 냠내 제대로 걸고 프로세스인데 추주직 대로 지금 말하게 아니 간대로 진짜 털지 갈로나요.
네. 다 양양 디고야. 다 배우로 시험을 찍다는 배도 뭐라. 양양 리버시나 아니 컨설팅 가르가르다 되게 영화야. 다 내가 자도 이거 영화 줘야도 가지 가버 찍봐라.
Yeah, I was kind of adding my own thing. I said, Geshe, yes, maybe thinking that will help us to be joyful in the beginning. Now, if I have 1 hour practice, right, how can I stay joyful for 1 hour, right? The 1 hour seems to be quite... So I said, what do we do here? So Geshe said, yeah, usually, when we say that, we should reflect on the benefits of doing something positive practice, right? We have to do that kind of repeatedly so that it makes a lot of sense. And then it becomes a habit, right? It brings joy. If only reflects once a little bit, it may not be powerful enough to generate the joy. So we have to repeatedly contemplate the benefits of doing positive and practice and the demerits of doing negativities and why we need to stop it. Then I think by the power of such thinking or contemplation, then the joy will arise and more strongly, and we can sustain it.
Is it you call it? I guess I'll call it joy, joyful effort, but joy seems to be maybe secondary. Shouldn't we call it enthusiasm? Mm-hmm. And of course, joy may follow from that, be applied to it as well. But it's really more enthusiasm rather than joyful. Why is it called joyful?
Yeah, I think that's more like my translation, not the Geshe. The Tibetan word is troa. So which in this one is considered as enthusiastic, right? Enthusiasm, we translate it. But then recently, morely, maybe I've got influenced by the Song Rinpoche. He used the word joyful. So I end up using the joyful here, The Tibetan word troa can be translated as joyful, enthusiasm, or delight, right? Or even happiness, I don't know, right? So it depends, right? Yeah. So.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So what kind of ignorance is laziness associated with? Is this the ignorance of cause and effect?
Oh.
And if so, that means that only Buddhists have overcome laziness.
What?
If this is the case, if it's related to the ignorance of cause and effect, mm-hmm. since only Buddhists have overcome that ignorance, that means that only Buddhists are completely free of laziness.
Okay.
If that's the case.
And Timo Guchardo Rela again. Timo said the Kuda Debu la Mongbe Timu Sigore, and Timu Kandere Sigore, Slovakian. That Kuda Debu la Ducala, any Kundeganamsa Chavina, Bena Languation, Jundanam Chidami, Jundanam Machine and Yachulu Yorwagi. Timu said the condition was Shores again. Timu Chacha Rela Rovalodi.
Timu Senatazo, this word.
Mariba the Chipper again.
Mariba, the Chigba, the Chigba, Roros, and the Chigba is in the Divita. This was nobody order. No, in
it, didn't Mariba the Karaku the Devil, Mombe Mariba, young, and the Casatandam de Benilu, no Mariba Karin again.
That is Kata, Danzi Marva to get that is all the Monga said, so Kazaka Moya, Mongoli,
Mashiba something.
Mashiba, the Ganga Momba Shama.
No.
Or Tirishan, Jericho, News Magazine. Any country that came into you, career, the do carry Akumara. What is it?
Yeah, Geshe feels, the Tibetan word used in this context of Timu, which literally is translated as close-mindedness, but it's also another term is ignorance, marikpa. Of course, deep down, that must be related to the ignorance of grasping itself. But then ignorance can have many different forms, right? Ignorance is just a lack of knowledge about something, right? And so in this case, it could be that, when we don't, we lack the knowledge or understanding of the benefits, right, of virtues, or lack the understanding of the demerits of, non-virtue, laziness. So through that kind of just simple ignorance, let's say, we can call it, this didn't say symbol, then I think laziness arises, So it could be, yeah.
But that seems to relate to this particular ignorance, type of ignorance that relates to the ignorance of cause and effect. Mm-hmm. There are two types of ignorance usually described as ignorance of self-grasping and ignorance of lack of knowledge of karmic action.
Yeah, so he thought it could be related in deep down with the grasping itself, but on the surface level, more like the general ignorance, Yeah. Anybody else? If not, we can do prayers for the people who... yes, go ahead. Sure. Oh, somebody there, yeah.
There's another prayer request on Zoom that I couldn't see. Oh, Carlos, it must be private. I'll come to you.
Yeah. Prayer request. Please say prayers for Riley Hoffman, who passed away on Wednesday. It's by student.
Bigi tanda ming lab shabdi derong chin sarwa shibdi tanda melam skirona sa. So that's it, right? Osan kendi kaso tanda magru samjo da mishi chincha chumade tor ke manish tang prova ke. Then that to us me looking. No. Means no. What to watch us.
So there, it's. It was explained that there are 5 types of, or 3 or 4 or 5 types of effort.
Yes.
But isn't it better to say that the effort should be accompanied by these 3, 4, or 5 characteristics rather than these themselves being a type of effort? For example, armor-like, we could have armor-like effort or motivation, determination to do the practice, as well as non-discouragement, and yet not do any practice at all.
Right.
So how could they be an effort? How could armor-like, the motivation, be an effort if we could have it but not do any practice? So we have no effort.
Oh, why?
So we have armor. We may be convinced that we can do the practice.
So you mean why is armor-like effort? It's motivational, there's no effort. Why is it called joyful effort?
Yeah, why is it called effort or enthusiastic perseverance? Right. Same with non-discouragement.
Oh, sure.
And maybe the others as well. Rather than these being part of all these 5 characteristics, being part of every effort should possess this.
Okay, sure.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Quran ki this siguro tatagi kem chundu le chenang an chundu yao mongo sha ro again. Then that bena koje gi chundu se di kewe le la manju ngone ta ji sem gi ning go je sung ro again. Ta kon chundu se de ka le inji meji ki inji cheng na nga chundu se de effort la de new ro ro again. Peje se ro ko go ro again. Ko la de le ga go cham ju re ro again. kewe le zamjuru wage mazam ngone da ko chi thariru chigo ro wage tangwer bazam ngone chetugo re karin sa jo ro wa ko mada del ya ti joros ke mi dus ro wage jowa mena kol ya kewe chindu is kande ga za chindu kande chawre so ke
and the dewa shu yore ko del feyon is mazam de lega de ju mara no shada ko ya chungdo yode shi to re sam samotang and this she toya is called paying about it on and shundu shushi and this lega called Zuya Pendora.
Reta konse jorwa se de namje ke nganzo lunga ge jorwa chel kodeng me de ro ge sem ge jorwa de dan de kewe chundu la ro ge chundu de jorwa che me sem ge le de jorbe kon chi go ro ge
red sem de god was koje to power yena in lunga so be the rang yu yong to ora called sem de to amena called lega called jugul maro
ale los bebe signal chundu se ge chun se de sem ge lele chunbe ge da lunga ge chunba yin chap go ma ro ge
maro da to ju ko mo shin de shibar se ora so ngo ge to se ora but this is the shena de konje la de le lunga yesu karunji ge la le ta go ro te ta la le ko ya in midi jo ba ko jong to ya de ye wa tin jo de go yo de to ko ji
ko na sim jo sa da kanje lunga gare ne da sim jo de se go ro ge
lunga karun pe ko li ge za ko je to ri sun ko she to re se ko le ga de ya ko yin ba she so she to ba she wa ti re she to na ye wal se ra
no, what I was trying to get just to get it right. I don't know whether there is some problem with we translate in English, right? Coming through. Maybe in that sense, like the enthusiasm seems to be better translation than joyful effort, right? Because effort we usually think in terms of application, right? Now this armor-like is like before application we started it. So, but in the Tibetan it doesn't seem because the chundu, the joyfulness is defined as a mental state, right? Not a physical verbal action, you know? So if you don't have that, you could be physically doing something, but this is no joy, right? So I think that is that linguistic, right, problem we run into, right? Yeah. Make sure, yeah. Even if you're physically practicing, if you don't have that joy, there's no chundu, right? But even if, you know, so it is more like, yeah. So I think that effort kind of, yeah. Translation issues like this.
Speaking of joy,
Yeah.
I remember in the teaching on concentration from Lamin Chenmo, it said, Geshe taught that the actual antidote to laziness is pliancy or suppleness or
yes.
bliss. So
Yeah.
none of this. Actually,
Okay.
what about that?
Okay, sure. Quran condition is the again, and then Lamrim Ginalia, Shine Commercial Rogan,
La.
Lamrim Nangalia, Shine Kadur Rogan, and a Carso Lele Niembo di Lucem Shinjan Shagudus Rogan. This is the says that and a Shinjan di Sanda de Tunti Marwas Rogan. Pigal Shinjan di Lelugi Niembo Shagud Zanda de Tunti Lago de Dick and the Simbanas Rogan. Takanje Lelu Niembo and the Shinjan the Chada Yamaras.
Really. 形象是在要照这个是吧？这形象下的这个可是啊，
Lucem Shinjan Gate, the water Borwage, Lucem
可是啊，你现在工作上可是啊，你不得是也是当时要么觉不觉得？觉得这么有的我下的觉得是个是吧？
now, just the Quran said you can la. One because of the Lelu Niembo, the Shinjan, the red was again, Lu Shinjan in the Roge. And then the Jundu Shigdo, that they can say Shinang, Jundu the Shinjan, the Chikwa, Jundu can target the Shinjan Chagor Karagan, that the Chik.
我认为宗主的形象就是我说，
Also,
宗主怎么你看着呢？定义在你们下，定义在头上那你形象就是说，
Laura. Should you come to Lelu Niembo, the Shinjan, the Chagor, the Jundu the Chagor, Niga Chador.
应该啥个啥子应该啥个，你现在他。 有那个是你不得嘛？这宗主效果是吧？
Also,
他欣赏这块掉的时你个给想着呀，这个定义是到位的欣赏欣赏呢，女生的刚刚没有效果，这个上效果上有头呀，这个是吧？
So Geshe says that, yes, in the context of cultivating calm abiding or shamatha, right? We talk about physical pliancy and mental pliancy, which are antidotes to laziness, right? Laziness couldn't arise. But he said that's more of the outcome of, pursuing the enthusiasm or the joyful effort, The joyful effort or enthusiasm, Zundu, is the real antidote to laziness. But once you like say, through that effort or enthusiasm, you achieve pliancy, then they naturally become, right, antidotes to laziness, because your body becomes very serviceable, your mind becomes very serviceable, then there is no opportunity for laziness to kick in, So it's more like the outcome of the Zundu enthusiasm, yeah.
Is there a degree of pliancy that's achieved even before achieving actual shamatha, a degree of pliancy that's achieved before achieving shamatha, which also acts like an antidote to laziness? From the very beginning, perhaps,
sure,
maybe.
Yeah. Shinjang ge madong nge la ya karso gore lelo ge nyembo yong sik ro sa shine du de ro ge.
La.
Shine du ba ka la Shinjang madong nge la ro ge. Ya lelo nyembo de yong chog ro wa sa go ge.
Re da lelo nyembo de ma zo ru ro wa. Ti xin sha ma zo go zo ru zam xin de xin sha zo ro. Xin sha sa zo ru ru ro.
Right. Yeah, Geshe said, yeah, of course, I think throughout what we really see is the enthusiasm, as we are practicing calm abiding, and before even we reach pliancies, right, the antidotes to the laziness, yeah. Right. All right, thank you very much. Anybody on that side of the wall? No. Page 3. Lord Yazu, Yudon, Begade, Gesam, Pongwe, Chudon, Memba, Demba, Zenla, Wando, Geshe, Tanya, Chogun, Jala, So de, page 5. Mawa, Dame, Quindian, Dongwa, De, Kari, Jongzo, Nienda, Senza, Zhanggun Gawa, Niwa, Yapse, Zhangson, Tenzin, Mawe, Shiwa, Tenzin, Chebe, Yingguan, Zebe, Xie, Nigun, Changzhu, Dendu, Longdo, Damzhe, Bebe, Beiyun, Duja, Yazu, Hundo, Shabde, Tuesan, Gonda, Chezu, Zombe, Yongzo, Yure, Tobe, Nyake, Longri, Deyin, Nebe, Bende, 出殿康比大部小殿说，罗那空面这把南道天堂周围遍地中围切，本着居民切为听。天上对接天道小殿说，其实老面土界没了。天上对接天堂上面看，去双速度气动中。七道面边顿根轮度修 page 9 Ramja Shingi Gombo Seba Men Zodo Namje Kenyun Zhema So Chozo Seye Lazo Tamje Tade Mishe Choge Wendu Kyuden Cheda Losan Yawa Yi Shiro Tenpa Zenbe Beyun 他的对着中国新年中，扬州人在广播下边，今天中国强大北美洲代表着我所说的，那么最近为扬的两把也老上简单北北下边，推着家境农村养百姓，上着南州上进这边。公众写了送出代表的代表我的全部晓得，前边东马国王不着的，这边人浪西域工作，准备蹲点那些长者，贴着新年全部晓得说，开边朗读古些在准备查到年作让这些上边的这人工一些。兄弟，新年全部晓得说，台上有了这位弟弟，民众大觉咱们新旧节，老人在听这位白笑，现在新年全部晓得，说说叫我世界勤劳的，昨天当真都没听见，大家拉上大边那边，接到门边蹲个轮着。说想着生着人不节马节不能节约节节我娘吧没吧广东白话说当年大话人不节马节不能节约节我娘吧没吧广东白话说啥些北京这些没多长这了那些年的烟吧的上街行动没的如果能到新郎就不说看热热呗过来新港的平当的话马路中呗现在希望电信下边7点半多人就这一档过着热闹忙的大家面叫我工作样的那么当这面去见别了龙居上到蓝天云间รับ着人逻辑常见过把牛肉肉